Hello, 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 beautiful people, and welcome back to another LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live experience. I am excited to be here, and we're going to get right into it because I've been gone for a little while. So please do drop your city in the chat if you are joining us live. If you are listening on the replay, please do comment to let us know that folks are riding with us. We have had a lot of changes over the last couple of weeks. I've been out of the office, and now we're going live on a different day of the week. Typically, we go live on Tuesday, and this week, we're doing it on Wednesday, and we'll be doing that for the next couple of weeks. The whole month of June, we'll be going live on Wednesday. One is because it's a great opportunity just to feel out folks feeling like another day may work better for them in order to be able to join us live and really participate in the experience. For those of you who are watching on the replay, it won't make a difference significantly. The replay will just be available one day later. So the reason why I'm doing that is because we are in a really busy season for us as a business and for me as a human, as a person. There's so many graduations and milestone events that I'm celebrating in my personal life that I just want to make sure that I create enough space to be able to do that and feel good about all of those celebrations. I love graduation season. I love prom season. I love all that comes along with it. It feels like a renewal in a lot of ways. And that tied with summer and sunshine really just does a lot for me. I feel like I come alive in this time of year. And I need that because the things that are happening in the world are really causing a lot of mental friction for me. So looking for opportunities to find joy and celebrate and be excited about, really great things that are happening to people that I love and then I care about, people that I'm really proud of, and I want to see go out into the world and do great things, including some of our young gems. If you were here with us at the Career and Care Summit, we have several young gems that are graduating from 8th grade and high school. And transitioning into their next phase of life. So I'm really excited and proud of them. So shout out to the young gems. And there are also a lot of people just in my family who are celebrating, young men who are graduating high school, my nephews who are graduating middle school, just so many things to celebrate. And though it's busy and though it feels hectic, it feels very celebratory. And I'm excited for that. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like there's still lots of good things happening in my little bubble of the world. And that has kept me buoyant. It's kept me really motivated. So um, I'm excited to get into this topic because I think this time of the year also does give us a little bit more evidence to show how important it is to be visible. And you'll see that we have visibility as the new advantage is the title to this. And I want to take a different angle on visibility. So I'm Leah Murphy, the CEO of Career Gems for the Journey, where we help talented professionals build thriving careers. That's essentially, what we do. But if we get right into it, we are all experiencing an economy that is in a decline, right? Whether you want to call it a recession or not, it's a declining economy. And many of you have reached out saying that you are looking to get into the job market or you're currently in the job market. And if you're looking to get into the job market, you may be nervous because the job market isn't good either. So you want to consider new opportunities, but leaving the job that you're in or the job that you have right now feels way too risky. And I can absolutely relate to that. So because I understand intimately through my client's experience and my own experience what that juggling effect can feel like, I wanted to make sure that we talked about the strategy, this strategic visibility now that in a way that feels a little bit more tangible. Because I have to be honest, there is nothing that you as an individual can do to fix critical systems or infrastructure issues. And that includes a bad economy, that includes a bad job market, that includes all of the challenging political and social things that we're navigating right now. So we can't change those things. And because we can't, I know for a fact, and I know that you all are bright enough to know that there's no hack or three-step plan that will overcome these external factors of a bad economy and a down job market. So I'm not going to finesse, right? I'm not going to lie to you or oversimplify for the benefit of a neat little video, right? I want to make sure that we started to talk about what the bigger picture is and our own controllables. And hopefully that gives you a little bit of motivation to navigate and weather this current storm, to be to be able to come out on the other side sustaining, right? So corporations are going to continue to make changes. They're going to optimize, they're going to restructure, they're going to downsize, and they're going to actually align with that course of action for years to come, because that's the way that they've been incentivized. That's the way that most companies are adding value when they're not growing, is they actually shrink the staff, they shrink the workforce to make it seem like they've grown. And I'm going to talk about this in more depth in a series that I have coming up, where it talks about the broader impact of artificial intelligence on the workplace, not just the workplace though, but on the US economy holistically. So hold tight, because that's going to be a really deep dive, and it really puts us in a position to like assess how companies are being incentivized and where they're making their big bets. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, oftentimes what I'm seeing from the research is that companies are not optimizing and using AI to become more efficient. Although that's the promise. Right now, companies are downsizing and optimizing their workforce in order to be able to afford to continue to invest more money in artificial intelligence, because there's so much pressure, because there is this massively big bet. So I want to make sure that we talk about that separately. So please continue to join me in the rest of the month of June, because we're going to go deeper into that. But we understand that the average employee is going to be impacted by choices that companies are making. So in the midst of that, there's a limited number of things that you can control. And I want to make sure that we go a little bit deeper into what you can control and how to be able to strategically or really thoughtfully, or even if it's just white knuckling, navigating this current economy and this job market, there are things that you still can do. The two things that you can control, and there are more, but the two things that I want to talk about is your performance and your visibility. So whether or not you want to keep your current role and position yourself for the future, or you want to position yourself to pivot immediately, either way, those are the two things that you can control, that you can draw the right level of opportunities towards you. So for most people who are listening to this live, right, or watching this video, I highly, highly doubt that performance is a challenge for you. I doubt it, right? Because you're bright, you're capable. Our audience is packed with professionals who are just experts in their field and adding tremendous value to their organization and have built their credibility on years of experience and knowledge and hard fought wins, and taking risks and really delivering for large organizations and helping their careers grow as a result. But on the visibility side is where many of us don't have a clear strategy in place. Certainly, the visibility strategy may not be in place with the level of noise and the level of attention economy that we're navigating right now. So visibility at your current company and in external facing environments is a key to helping to sustain your credibility as an industry professional, but also as a way to be able to attract new opportunities to you if the opportunity that you're in now goes away, if something changes inside of that organization in your control or out of your control. So it makes people uncomfortable to talk about visibility because it has a lot of weight to the term. It has a lot of individual responsibility that comes to be able to overcome all of those external forces. Maybe that's the first thing that came to mind. And the truth of the matter is, you can't change those forces. But visibility in the right time, in the right place, consistently over time is how people and opportunities find you. And before anybody starts thinking, oh, great, she's going to talk to me about personal brand. And she's going to try to encourage me to go do a bunch of stuff that is not focused on my day-to-day job, or what I already have a full plate that I'm responsible for. I hear that. So stay with me. Just stay with me, because that's not where we're going today. We're going to be talking more about your level of visibility as a tool to get your career opportunities that you are looking for, not about becoming an influencer, not about curating a perfect social media page. That's not where we're going. We're talking about positioning this in a really intentional way And it's not chasing attention, it is just creating a consistent digital footprint or a digital resume that you can then leverage, and you can use that in person and on platforms. So this is the where I think the biggest opportunity for a lot of us is when there are other things that are out of our control, we can control our visibility. So it's an important aspect of your career strategy, and it always has been. And we've covered it in other forms, but now I think so much has changed externally that I want to bring it back to the table. So we want to make sure that the value you create is actually understood by the people who are making decisions, and that may be people who are outside of your current organization. Honestly, this conversation has become even more important as there is a very noisy attention economy that we are navigating now. And there's a lot of new data that's getting tossed into it because people can use generative AI to just put a volume of information in the system. But according to LinkedIn's Change Report, by 2030, approximately 70% of the school skills used in most jobs are expected to change and continue to evolve. So I think when we think about a number like 70% of skills are going to change and evolve, that means that the credibility that you built in the past for your career, for your thought leadership, for your subject matter expertise, those things are going to need a facelift. They're going to need a revisit. They're going to need to be reestablished or shared again to broader audiences. So if we think about that for a moment, the rules of work are changing faster than many people can adjust and adapt to. And that realization may cause this idea of feeling left behind. And I want to avoid the feeling of being left behind because I've said it on multiple times on the platform that there are still people who are actively figuring out how they're going to use artificial intelligence. There are still companies, corporations, C-suites, large strategic firms, consulting firms that are still trying to figure that out. So you're not too late, you're not behind. But it doesn't leave out the idea that workplaces are run on value creation and visibility. And that reminder that value creation and visibility are both things that are in your control and that require a real thoughtful strategic approach to make sure that people are keeping your skills and your competency top of mind. Now, this will not prevent a restructure. Let's be honest. It will not change how companies are choosing to invest their dollars, but it will position you for other opportunities, or it will allow you to attract the right kinds of partnerships, collaborations, leaderships, sponsorships, all of those things. It will allow you to attract them. So while organizations continue adapting to artificial intelligence and automation, and all these things look like workplace transformation, the questions then become who can adapt, who can lead, who can learn this quickly, who is still creating value. And those questions are always being asked in the background. And I think some of us know that they're being asked, but the problem becomes if nobody understands the value that you create in this noisy, attention driven economy, it is almost the same thing as being invisible. If nobody understands the value you create in this noisy, attention driven economy, it is almost the same as being invisible. So I wanted to say the quiet part out loud because if no one can answer the question, what have you done lately? Then they can't be the one to pick up the phone to call you to introduce you to the right person, to DM you so that you're on a short list for new opportunities or collaborations or a panel or a board. If there's no evidence of you coming to mind for what it is you believe you need to come to mind for, then those opportunities cannot find you. So as I was talking to my team about this, it reminded me that often many of us, and I can say this, for me as someone who was raised by a baby boomer that I absolutely love, the idea of working hard, keeping your head down, doing a good job, and eventually someone will notice is a tried and multiple times debunked myth. Just not true. Not true in this intention driven economy that we're navigating. So it may have applied and it made perfect sense to a generation before, but it's not true today. So if that was you, if you've gotten that same guidance, drop a yes in the chat because I'm really curious. Is that still something that's prevalent and being discussed? Because it's something that I had to actively work to unlearn. And I think that there's also an even deeper layer, right? If we continue to peel it back, that women are also doubly or in a layered, multi-layered way, really encouraged to believe that hard work would naturally speak for itself. And when you get into your career, that's your responsibility and to remain, humble and in the shadows and a support system for other people to be able to go out and lead, for your peers to be able to go out and lead. And because we know that advice doesn't work, we now can apply today's workplace culture and today's busy attention economy. We have to now pivot and evolve in order to create the right momentum for opportunities to find us. Now, what's working against us, right? People are working remotely, teams are distributed, leaders are managing more people than ever. There's lots of managers that are saying that organizations are getting flatter, where every time there's a restructure or a layoff, we know that there are layers that are getting cut. So your manager may have gone from leading a small team to leading a team of 50. So because there is more pressure on everyone who's deciding to stay inside of these systems or who is currently inside of the system, that visibility that you used to be able to get by default, it doesn't happen automatically. You're not going to get the visibility that's necessary in order for you to create new opportunities for yourself or for new opportunities to find you. It just doesn't happen automatically. We can't rely on our managers to be the ones to create the visibility for us. It only happens through our active intention. And I think that in this stage of a noisy, attention built economy, visibility is a form of currency. Just like information is a form of currency, just like money is a form of currency, visibility is a form of currency. Because the myth of letting your work speak for itself is one of the biggest career myths that I see today that continues to get perpetuated. And it does not allow for you to figure out how to find a way to be visible strategically in a way that fits for you. So everyone is going to come to this in their own way, but I understand why people don't take action on visibility because it does require more effort. It does require you to be more thoughtful. It does require you to show up. Especially for my introverts, it can be harder to generate that visibility in a way that's not depleted for you. So that's why I want to talk about it, to give us a range of ways that we can choose how to be visible and how to make sure that the right opportunities are attracted to us consistently over time. So I can tell you my own personal story. I um I, I posted not that long ago about being nominated for HR Person of the Year in the ally category, HR ally category. And though my clients, did me the honor of nominating me for the actual award, there was a ton of work that ended up going on behind the scenes in order to execute and really move to each round of that application. And what always strikes me is if I am really motivated to keep to really honor the work that my client did in nominating me, then I have to do my part, right? There's something that I have to then show up and do. So that there's interview processes, there's documents that have to be submitted, and then there's, events that go along with it. There's precursor events and networking. So I was thrilled and excited to be nominated for the Delaware Valley HR Person of the Year award in the ally category. It was phenomenal. However, it required me to take action and to be visible in order to reap the full benefits of what that had to offer. So as I'm doing great work and I'm partnering with my clients and I really feel excited about the work that I'm contributing in order to continue to drive visibility into new arenas, there's more that comes along with it. And the truth is, there are benefits that come with that also. And I think sometimes the award itself is what most people are thinking about, but I lost. I didn't win the award, but I'm still celebrating because it created a new opportunity for me to engage and learn and partner and collaborate and to be able to grow my business in the future. So, this idea of you have to be present and visibility is a part of the process is something that I'm constantly reminded of, and I have personal examples of on a regular basis. So I'm trying to really practice what I preach because the truth of the matter is your work does not speak for itself. People speak for you. Managers speak for you, sponsors speak for you. People are going to speak for you and they're going to speak for you. You're going to come to top of mind because you're strategically visible in a way that's going to align with the way that you want them to support you. So the phenomenal Tara J. Frank said at the Career and Care Summit just earlier this year that, oftentimes people will make a request, can you advocate for me? Can you support me? And her question always, her question then, and I'm paraphrasing, is support you to whom and to what end? What do you want to be said? And that just reigns so true in this moment because your strategic visibility, where you choose to show up and show up big, helps people like your sponsors and your managers. It helps people to help you because leaders and advocates will speak on your behalf if you are intentional and you're strategically visible and you're giving them the tools that they need in order to be an advocate for you. So if people making decisions understand your contributions, and this is inside or outside of your organization, they can help to advocate for you. If they don't have the information, if you are not visible, if they don't know what you do, if they don't know the value proposition that you represent, they can't help you. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't know or they don't have the tools necessary to be able to support you. So the approach won't be the same for everyone, but there are a few tried and true strategic visibility tactics that I see and that I use. And no gatekeeping here. I want to make sure that we're on the same page. The first one that I, talk about all the time, and you guys have heard me talk about conferences and events, but it really drills down to professional organizations. These events are a treasure trove of relationship building opportunities with your peers, but you have to show up. You have to be there in person. And when you're there in person, you have to have some substance that you can share in those spaces to be able to build connection. So think about them as a way to be strategically visible. So you go to the professional organization events and you try to attend one a quarter. Introduce yourself to a minimum of 3, maybe 5 new people, and then set a goal that one of those 3 to 5 people evolve into a follow-up conversation and maybe into a one-on-one meeting. And then you start to figure out how you can create a mutually beneficial relationship with that individual. I think professional organizations are a way to neutralize being very, very visible inside of one organization or inside of one company. It allows you to translate that visibility that you may have inside of one company to a broader audience, and you can do it thoughtfully. And a lot of times your company will pay for you to go to professional organization events if the budget is there and it's available. And if not, your company won't pay for it, then I think about that as a budget for additional networking, and it's an investment in yourself. So another way to go about really driving your strategic visibility is to share your thought leadership digitally, and to do that in person also when possible. So it doesn't have to be complicated, right? I know sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, that means I have to start a Substack, or I have to, write think pieces, or I got to start a blog. I don't believe that all of that has to happen. Start where you are now and start with what you have now. So in order to de-risk or to remove any complications, you can simply post an article about something that you read, something that you learned recently, and drop your comment, something you're excited about, a book that you are, currently reading or using as a tool for your own growth, development, or healing, or something you can share, a win or even a setback. I just told you that I got nominated for an award that I didn't win, right? And what I'm learning from not winning that award, or the way I'm using even not winning the award as a way to be able to continue to grow my business and to develop more robust relationships in the industry that I work in. So those are just easy too, right? We can go deeper into that if that's something that you want to do. But visibility is information in 2026. Visibility is currency. The cost of invisibility is great. So we have to talk about the cost because it's very expensive. It There's an old saying that I consistently remind myself of is you don't you can't be mad at the results you didn't get for the things you didn't work for the effort you didn't put in. And I remind myself of that all the time, even when I'm frustrated and even when I'm like, man, this is hard. I go, I get some rest, and then I come back to say, all right, what do I need to do? How am I consistently showing up in a way that's going to be healthy for me? Because invisibility means that opportunities don't know where to find you, or people that have opportunities can't get in contact with you. That affects compensation, it affects promotion, it affects sponsorship, it affects new opportunities, new jobs. It affects, new boards that you could join or new organizations that you could partner with or collaborate with. It costs. Sometimes those costs can be many, and that can come with years of waiting for recognition that never arrives, or it can come with you seeing other people get opportunities or get access to things that you think you should also have access to because you're hoping someone notices rather than being strategically visible. So, years of believing that hard work alone is going to create an opportunity, I think we've already debunked that myth. So, I want to make sure that we go actively and pursue what's next for us as we think about strategically being visible. So, when we think about what happens next, it's not because someone oftentimes is better than you or smarter than you or more capable than you. A lot of times opportunity presents itself to those who are top of mind and those who are, highly credible, those who have created strategic visibility. And that doesn't mean you have to post every day, 5 times a day. It doesn't mean that you have to be on social media platforms all the time. I'm not advertising exhausting yourself by, doing the do doing the thing just to say you did it. I'm advocating for you strategically thinking about how do I want to invest my time so that all of these external factors that are happening, I'm not going to stop those, but I am going to be intentional about where I show up and how I show up and how that'll affect my career, my finances in the future. So the uncomfortable question is always, do I feel really confident that where I'm showing up is actually going to create value for me now and in the future? Because what you do now affects your future. And there are so many ways that you can show up as a visible, strategic, thoughtful, um, phenomenal asset to a company, to an organization, to a nonprofit, to a board, to a small startup. There are all these ways that you can show up, but it requires you to be intentional because the workplace doesn't reward always the most talented, the most capable. The workplace often rewards those whose value is best understood and those who are visible. So I think there's been lots of reporting, and it's becoming more and more clear that companies are under enormous pressure now to adapt artificial intelligence, to increase productivity, to do more with less resources, to move faster than their competitors, all of the stuff that we hear all the time. But here's where I want to distill that down. When organizations are moving this quickly, when they are under this kind of pressure, it doesn't allow managers or leaders to have the luxury of observing every contribution, to go and dig for information on you, to go and figure out where you're adding value and what your performance deliverables have been. They're just not, there's not time for that. So you have to often serve your contributions, your value proposition on a platter, and then make sure that your visibility inside of the organization and outside of the organization is something that you're actively feeling like you are reining in and you have a handle on. Because you don't ever want to feel like you only have one option, and that's to stay where you are. Because at some point, that may be not a fit for you, or maybe that's a year from now, maybe that's 10 years from now. So strategically being visible to new opportunities is just the way of this attention economy. Um, so managers are going to rely on what they already know. They're going to rely on what they already see. They're going to rely on the information that's available to them. And we have to assume that they're not going to go digging. This is why visibility matters. This is why sending the recap to an important discussion, or sending your project updates, or celebrating your wins and acknowledging when you deliver above and beyond is just a thoughtful way to use visibility as it relates to your managers. Visibility helps decision makers understand where value is being created. And I want you to have that access. That visibility is getting created, it's being thoughtfully, intentionally curated, and then you leverage that to create new opportunities for yourself or to make a transition or pivot sometime in the future. So, if this resonated with you and you need help to figure out how to get started, you can DM me. I'll do a free 30-minute consultation around how you can start to create strategic visibility in your specific area of expertise, in your function, in your company, in your broader network. DM me, hit me up on LinkedIn. We can make that happen. And if you're trying to figure out how to leverage AI tools strategically to increase your visibility, sign up for our AI workshop using QR code on the screen. If you're trying to use AI tools to be able to strategically increase your visibility, sign up for the AI workshop using the QR code on the screen. We are officially in June, and the course will be launching in the next couple of weeks. So if you found this valuable and this rang a bell for you, or you think it's going to be relevant to someone else in your network, I would really appreciate it if you would just send the link to this video to your group chat. That's all I'm asking. Hit a like, drop a comment if you want, but more than anything, share this link to your group chat. We have to make our journeys work for us. And this kind of thoughtful, intentional approach to strategic visibility, I think, can be a difference maker as we weather this current economic storm and figure out what's next on the other side. So I appreciate you for riding with me. Make your journey work for you. And until then, I'll see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here live.